Welcome back to iFakeNormal. Before we get started, I know, I'm sorry, I missed a week. Things happen. Let's talk about things that are normal. Laws. We've all had a run-in with the law, haven't we? No? Yeah, me neither. We're all affected by laws, right? Every single day of our life. One law we all abide by is the law of gravity. I mean, there's no getting out of that one. So for those of us who aren't like serial killers or evading our taxes or jaywalkers or illegal U-turners or the sorts of people that wear white after Labor Day, we abide by the law. But some laws, they're not normal. Alabama. In Alabama, you may not have an ice cream cone in your back pocket at any time. Why would you have an ice cream cone in your back pocket? That is not normally the means of transportation that I choose for an ice cream cone. I like to carry my ice cream cone in, this general region above the belt. Alaska. In Alaska, no one may tie their pet dog to the roof of their car. I think that's a pretty sensible law. In fact, I don't think any living thing should be tied to the roof of a car. PETA. In fact, I think in this case, it should be an eye for an eye. If you tie something living to the roof of a car, you should be tied to the roof of a car. See how it feels. Arizona. In Arizona, no more than 6 girls may live in a house at one time. So, sorry if you have one too many children. Octomom. 6 girls in one house? Bad idea. Arkansas. Dogs may not bark after 6 p.m. Sure, but how do you enforce it? I mean, who gets fined if the dog starts barking? The dog? Me? It's not my fault that, Creepo decided to walk down the street and disturb my dog while it was in its yard minding its own business. Is it? No, that's not my fault. Creepo's fault. Well, it's a good law. It's also absolutely ridiculous. California. In California, you are not permitted to wear cowboy boots unless you own at least 2 cows. Leave it up to California to make a fashion law. Here's another fashion law from California. Women may not drive in a housecoat. So all of you soccer moms out there dropping the kids off for school or whatnot, you better stinking put on some clothes and forget that robe at home. That's why it's called a house coat. Yeah. Which brings me to another point. Pajamas. They're for bed. Pajamas are for sleeping. Wear your PJs at home. I don't need to see you with your juicy pajama bottoms walking down the street. They're for bed. They're for home. Let's leave them there. Wear some actual pants. Trousers for our British friends. Also in California, no vehicle without a driver may exceed 60 miles per hour. First off, how is the car driving? How often does this happen that we needed to make a law? I mean, all these renegade cars just driving around town and causing mayhem. Colorado. I've personally never been to Colorado, but pretty sure after reading these laws that I don't want to go. So in Colorado, throwing missiles at cars is illegal. Keep your missiles to yourself, boys and girls. Missiles? What's going on in Colorado that people are just casually shooting off missiles at traffic? Are we in an action movie? Should we have been looking for weapons of mass destruction in Colorado this whole time? Also in Colorado, boulders may not be rolled on city property. Okay, Hulk. Who's rolling boulders? What kind of after-school activity is that? Pick up a hobby. Why are we rolling boulders? This is not what Adele meant by rolling in the deep. Also in Colorado, couches may not be placed on outside porches. There's missiles and boulders flying around. You're probably best off with your couch on the inside. In Colorado, it is unlawful to lend your vacuum cleaner to your next door neighbor. You can't trust your neighbors in Colorado. They're harboring weapons of mass destruction in their backyard. You don't want it. That's probably what they'll do with the vacuum. They're gonna harvest it for parts and make bombs and throw them at your car. Don't lend them your vacuum cleaner. Connecticut. In Connecticut, in order for a pickle to be considered a pickle, it must bounce. After it's bounced on the floor, am I really still gonna want to eat it? Oh, yep, it's a pickle. But now it's a dirty pickle. In Connecticut, it is illegal to dispose of used razor blades. I foresee an episode of Hoarders. And you aren't allowed to cross the street while walking on your hands. You probably just shouldn't do this anywhere. I mean, unless you don't have feet. I'm gonna suggest that you just don't do that no matter where you live. And in Connecticut, you may not educate dogs. That sounds a little specious to me. You can't have smart dogs. Good thing we don't live there, right, Layla? What you reading up on? Delaware. Alcohol may not be served in nightclubs if dancing is occurring on the premises at the same time. Lamest club ever. What's the point of going to a nightclub? Have a drink, have a dance. That's what nightclubs are for, so that people can get away with dancing like this. And they can blame it on the alcohol. 6-year-old girls may not run around without being fully clothed. That's just common sense. I mean, put some clothes on your baby. Not run around naked. This isn't Africa. Florida. If an elephant is tied to a parking meter, the parking fee has to be paid just as it would for a vehicle. It's not a problem that you are riding an elephant or that you parked your elephant in between this tiny Honda Accord and that SUV. That's not the issue. Just as long as you pay that parking fee, you're okay. Also in Florida, men may not be seen publicly in any kind of strapless gown. Spaghetti straps, fine. Let's show a little modesty, ladyboys. Last but not least, Georgia. Donkeys may not be kept in bathtubs. You can't keep your donkey in the bathtub. So, you should probably get it out of there. All citizens in Georgia must own a rake. I don't care if you live in an apartment building and you have landscapers that come regularly to do the landscaping. I don't care if you live on a cement slab or in a car in a parking lot. You need to own a rake. It's against the law to not own a rake. You rebel. You rebel without a rake. And last but not least, it is illegal for one to make disturbing sounds at a fair. I feel like this law was made up by somebody who has never been to a fair before. They're like a first-time fair goer, and they were disturbed. Because if you've ever been to a state fair, that's all you'll find is disturbing things. The whole fair is centered around disturbing things. There's bearded women, giant horses, pig races, screaming children, families of gingers, people trying to kidnap your friends while you're on the Ferris wheel. That's another story. Music's playing, bells are going off. I mean, you're not gonna get away from disturbing sounds. Are you trying to take a nap? Probably not the best idea. So that's just 10 of the 50 states in America. So thanks for watching iFakeNormal. I'll put out a new video every Saturday. I promise I won't disappoint you this time. I'm committed to you. We're like this now. I mean it. And subscribe so you don't miss out. Like the video, leave a comment in the section below if you have any suggestions of what you'd like me to talk about next week, or if you've seen something abnormal today, or tomorrow, or whenever you watch this video.